All right, y'all. We back with another reaction right here on ABP Reactions, and this one is called D.A.R.E. D.A.R.E. The real reason cops taught you about drugs. They used to come to our middle schools, high schools, elementaries all the time. Let's see what it was about, man.
D.A.R.E. anti-drug programs, remember those?
Remember D.A.R.E. from school? Y'all remember D.A.R.E.?
Cop will come to your school, open up a briefcase of drugs.
They try to scare kids away from drugs by sending cops into schools.
You guys remember that? You remember how bad this program was?
This is the 2001 Board of Directors for the D.A.R.E. program. Before I show you who's on it, I want you to ask yourself, who would you want running D.A.R.E.? Maybe social scientists or educators. These people are going to wield the power of the police and shape how millions of children view drugs, crimes, and their own body. All right. Ready?
Ready.
If you said 4 billionaires, 18 multimillionaires, their lawyers, 3 cops, one of whom is a convicted felon, 2 who are involved in corruption scandals, their friends, the NFL player who's at the center of RFK's assassination conspiracy theories, a boxer who reportedly uses steroids, 2 people on the Epstein list, and this guy who, after the FBI did an undercover sting, caught him trying to launder money to cover up a cocaine trafficking operation.
Damn, what the heck? What? Sheesh. That was one hell of a lineup.
If you said that, then you'd be right.
The D.A.R.E. program it's nonsense. I mean, we can be honest about it.
By 1995, D.A.R.E., or drug abuse resistance education, was in 75% of all American school districts. They sent thousands of police officers into tens of thousands of elementary schools to teach 10-year-olds to say no to drugs. It was backed by presidents.
People like these D.A.R.E. officers are making a real impression.
Celebrities.
Little kids doing drugs.
It even got its own national holiday. 114 million Americans went through D.A.R.E.
Sheesh.
That's 34% of the entire population.
What we were talking about are the consequences for using marijuana.
I just want to shake some sense into you kids that are using drugs and thinking about using. So remember, don't.
And then we found out that it didn't work.
Cheers.
Cheers. A while back, Mia and I were talking about the D.A.R.E. program.
Because genuinely, what the fuck?
Specifically, how bad its failure was. Some studies, like this one, found that D.A.R.E. students were more likely than non-D.A.R.E. students to experiment with drugs.
That's crazy. Temptation.
Whoops.
How did that happen?
Totally.
And then Mia had a question.
Everyone knows about D.A.R.E. Everyone knows that it failed. But what I'm missing is, like, did they not test that it worked? Like, the people that made it?
For years, D.A.R.E. has been laughed at.
Just say
now to crack!
Trendy, goofy teens wear their t-shirt around to mock its demise. We all came up with our own theories as to why D.A.R.E. didn't work. We kind of dismissed it as yet another failed government program. And we never properly investigated the private corporation, a nonprofit that often doesn't act like one, that somehow was able to get a dysfunctional drug program and police officers into your school and mine. This video was...
This shit was like a big cash grab. Like, what the fuck? That is crazy. Like, nobody ever questioned if D.A.R.E. really worked. Like, did it really help? Because you come into, like, drug-infested, like, you know what I mean, neighborhoods, and you saying just say no. But then a lot of those niggas you was telling just say no, it happened to be the local neighborhood drug dealer or drug user. Nobody gave a fuck about D.A.R.E. when you really think about it. They just got them stickers, nigga. Give me those stickers that t-shirt.
Supposed to be a nostalgic explainer of America's biggest accident. But over the past 4 months, we've been combing through thousands of documents, interviewing cops, historians, journalists, and discovered that behind this program is a buried story, using high-powered lawyers, attacking journalists and researchers when they tried to bring the truth to light. The people at D.A.R.E. ruined careers to protect themselves. I want to show you all of this because when you look at the people who were behind the program, you start to see what D.A.R.E. was really all about.
And then 12-year-old kids were like, okay, crack sounds fun.
And then all the kids would be like, now I want drugs.
Clandestine meeting in the Mojave Desert. Illegal guns being sent to the Contras by the CIA.
They did studies that showed that it's actually ineffective, in some cases actually harmful.
Wow.
The story that's told is that D.A.R.E had good intentions, that they built a program that they thought would work, and it just didn't. However, I quickly learned there's a lot more to that story. After talking with Mia, I went out and picked up this book. It was written by a professor of history at Ball State University, and it's phenomenal. But there's one part that left me with way more questions than answers. So,
what part is it,
I reached out. In 1983, a group of researchers affiliated with USC just wrapped up a meeting with the Los Angeles School Board.
It's not like they didn't have drug prevention efforts going on. The LA Unified School District actually had been piloting a program called Project SMART.
The researchers in charge of Project SMART are leaving a school board meeting when a man approaches them.
Actually approached the Project SMART researchers.
His name was Daryl Gates.
And Gates is kind of like, well, what if we can take the Project SMART and just have the police do, teach it.
Oh, they ran a play. Daryl Gates, he was like the goddamn police chief. Police chief Daryl Gates of LAPD. Yeah, let my cops teach your program. Yeah, okay. We're going to get some of that money y'all about to get. We need some of that. All this shit be for money, man. This shit be for money, man. What the fuck? They don't give a fuck. Why would we as cops want to prevent you guys from using drugs? That mean that people would stop selling drugs because nobody want to buy them. And then what the fuck we going to do? As cops, we got to get criminals.
Having serious objections to police involvement, they said no. But according to one of Gates's right-hand men,
if you told Gates that he was wrong, he would crush you.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Because 114 million kids went through this program. So what do you mean he'll crush you? What do you mean by that?
This idea of like, if only they had known, does not apply.
They fucking knew? Did they know?
So the SMART researchers agreed to share their findings. They had been testing two different approaches. One of them they found didn't work.
And they said, we found that this affective component wasn't working. We've dropped it. We don't use that anymore because we found that it was not having the right effects.
These researchers had found that it made kids more likely to do drugs.
Before it launched.
Wow.
And that's what they told him.
The other side of it, what they called peer resistance training, was more effective. What ends up happening, there's no real documentation of why this occurred, is that they kept the affective education component in.
So the part that they knew didn't work.
D.A.R.E kept that piece in.
Wow.
What do you take from that? Is this just a PR stunt? Or do you think there might be other stuff going on behind the scenes?
Well, with Gates, there's always other stuff going on.
This is drugs.
They knew what they was doing, man. Dirty motherfucker. Dirty motherfuckers, man.
This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Max's book is a phenomenal breakdown of D.A.R.E's expansion, its impacts on culture, policing, the nuances of the hundreds of studies that went into D.A.R.E. But I want to show you a completely different angle.
Yeah. All right. That's right.
Okay, so I talked to this guy. He's a former cop, and he was there. Like, he worked directly under the founder of D.A.R.E. when and where it was created.
Okay.
And I think the problem is that we all just kind of assumed that D.A.R.E.'s failure was a big mistake. Let me just show you what he said.
Why are we doing this program? Because that's internally, that's what most people thought. So why are we doing this?
Wait, tell me more about that.
They just thought it was a ridiculous idea. Most people within the departments, everybody said it's not going to work.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
What? Okay.
Marijuana. Oh, was it good?
When one of the smart researchers learned that D.A.R.E was using the effective approach, he reached out to try to help fix it. But D.A.R.E was never interested, speculating that D.A.R.E had other motives. D.A.R.E didn't need fixing. What it needed was money and friends in high places.
All about the Benjamins, man. All about the Benjamins.
Though not technically true, the point still stands. Another smart researcher put it bluntly. D.A.R.E had never talked to a scientist until it got into some trouble in 1993.
Wow.
When D.A.R.E was already in
10 years later,
2% of school districts.
Damn.
Making the question, if their goal wasn't efficacy, what was it?
It is truly my great pleasure to welcome D.A.R.E to NASDAQ.
It's June 4th, 1968. A 15-year-old boy walks into the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. He's there on an assignment for his high school newspaper. U.S. Senator Robert F. Kennedy is in town, and he's giving a speech at the hotel. The boy's assignment is to take photos of it.
Thanks to all of you, and now it's on to Chicago, and let's win there.
Following the speech, the 15-year-old is following the senator around, snapping photos, when...
What?
Senator Kennedy had been shot. He's been shot? That's right.
Pow! Kapooey!
A former NFL player named Rosie Greer subdued Sirhan Sirhan, who we now know as the assassin of Robert Kennedy. Realizing that Kennedy had just been shot, the high school photographer starts taking photos of everything he can. Then, the LAPD appears. The boy is detained. All his photos, 3 entire rolls of film, are taken from him. 2 months later, the LAPD secretly burns 2,410 photos taken during the investigation. In time, they also destroy ceiling panels with bullet holes in them, x-rays of those ceiling panels, and spectrographic analyses of the bullets.
Sounds like a cover-up to me, right? They trying to get rid of all the evidence. Boy, this is some dirty-ass politics, man. This shit's still dirty. But come on, man. Y'all know all them goddamn assassinations be inside jobs, man. Even that goddamn Charlie Kirk shit. Yeah. All this shit be inside jobs. This shit is crazy.
Why would you do that? It's all quite suspicious. During this time, a young officer at the LAPD is climbing the ranks. His name is Daryl Gates. He was just in charge of the intelligence division, but got a promotion to be assistant chief.
He was a narcissist, and his ego was beyond belief.
Gates is about to build an infamous reputation.
A man who Pulitzer Prize winning journalists have called egomaniacal and paranoid. He is responsible for the creation of the SWAT team.
Oh.
And commits a move that will change policing forever. A brutal, unprovoked raid on the Black Panthers. Meanwhile, the intelligence division that Gates oversaw breaks off into 2 different categories. The Organized Crime Intelligence Division, or OCID, and the Public Disorder Intelligence Division, or PDID. Almost immediately, the PDID neglects its mission to serve public disorder and focuses on the real enemy. Building dossiers on journalists, labor unions, civil rights groups, public servants, anti-war activists, and the mayor, of course.
This paranoia that the LAPD had under Daryl Gates extended way beyond the city of LA. He had officers undercover all around the world.
I know this guy sounds like a conspiracy theorist, but he's actually a Pulitzer Prize winning investigative journalist. Check yourself.
Part of what you were revealing, he had like hundreds of people, right?
He had, we don't know how many he had.
We're not talking FBI. This
is LAPD.
LAPD, a local municipal police force, hundreds of agents undercover, and some of them internationally.
Hundreds of agents.
What? What the hell is LAPD doing with international undercover? What the fuck? That's crazy.
Agents in the unit that supervised the undercover officers.
Soon, the PDID starts to get in trouble. They got caught running covert intelligence missions by sending undercover officers into schools, not to investigate a crime, but instead to build political dossiers, signifying that the LAPD and Daryl Gates are becoming increasingly obsessed with power. And it's working. Legions of police officers are starting to look towards Daryl Gates for their next move.
The nigga was running a monopoly, y'all. He was running a monopoly. He wanted to be the motherfucking man, not just in LA, but everywhere. But he was using LA to show as an example. Let me show you what I could do here. So you can just imagine what I could do everywhere if I had power all over this motherfucker. See what's going on here.
Watergate. The White House called it a third-rate burglary, but it escalated into the worst political scandal in American history.
I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
In the wake of the Watergate scandal, America started to wake up. The government wasn't just watching its enemies anymore. It was watching everyone. The FBI ran COINTELPRO. And
COINTELPRO! Chuck down the Black Panthers, man. COINTELPRO. They got COINTELPRO and podcasting right now. Name which podcasters y'all think is COINTELPRO.
CIA was doing the same through Operation MH Chaos. Local, state, and federal agencies all got in on it. So cities, states, Congress started pushing back, passing laws like this one. These laws say, if you're spying on someone, if there's no crime committed, you have to delete the file. Around this same time, they expand the Freedom of Information Act. And this guy, a congressman from New York, wants answers. He wants to know what really happened to Robert F. Kennedy. So he looks at LA and starts asking questions. A memo makes its way up the chain of command to Daryl Gates, responding point by point to the representative's questions. A key photograph taken during the investigation of the assassination was kept secret by Los Angeles police, who feared it might contradict official statements.
Really?
The existence of this photograph is believed to be unknown by anyone outside of this department, and that the LAPD deliberately kept this a secret.
Wow. What the fuck? These dirty motherfuckers, man. This shit is crazy.
Soon after, the California Supreme Court comes down on the LAPD, saying, you can't send undercover cops into schools if there's no crime. You can't do this. Then, the LA Board of Police Commissioners orders Daryl Gates' precious PDID to destroy 1.9 million dossiers. The world that Gates built of power, secrecy, and surveillance is officially under threat. Gates' chief gets summoned to DC. The Senate Intelligence Committee wants names. Everyone that's spying for the LAPD. The chief waged a war. His response was a clear declaration that the LAPD was going rogue. It will be a cold day in hell when I provide you with the information you've requested.
Wow. Daryl Gates, man, I remember I was a kid, but Daryl Gates, I remember that name.
Back in LA, one of the PDID spies gets a quiet order. We're not going to destroy the records. We want you to hide them. 3 years later, Daryl Gates is promoted to chief, inheriting total control of a rogue, loyal, militarized force with an elite spy network. Daryl Gates is then blessed with a gift directly from the CIA gods themselves. These new laws didn't say that spying was illegal. They just said that if no crime was committed, you shall maintain no record. Representative Larry McDonald, chair of the right-wing advocacy group known for its conspiracy theories, teams up with his buddies to create the Western Goals Foundation, a domestic intelligence agency.
Those guys came up with the idea of setting up this company to do what the FBI couldn't do.
There is one thing that these new laws cannot regulate. Of course, private businesses. The LA...
I found a loophole. He found a loophole. And Daryl Gates, I remember Daryl Gates, he was a police chief during the LA riots. Daryl Gates. Oh, man. I got to do a reaction to the story of the LA riots, if y'all don't know. That is a crazy fucking story. And what spawned from that. And it's a lot. It's deep. Now, that shit is dark. There's a lot of crooked shit that happen out here in LA, man. God damn.
APD funnels its hidden records to the ultra-conservative mini deep state.
He got the files from PDID.
And ramps up.
200 groups were infiltrated over the course of a couple of years.
Spies are sent to the city council, journalists, academics, the ACLU, celebrities, LGBTQ activists, labor unions, and the political left.
And those were being provided to Western goals.
We were told at one time that there were no undercover agents in this chamber, and in fact there was an undercover agent. You've had officers infiltrating peaceful organizations, law-abiding organizations, infiltrating this council chamber, reporting on what councilmen have said, reporting on roll calls of councilmen, and you're telling me that you're proud of the efforts that have been made?
You seem to know a great deal for a statement that says you don't know anything. Now what is it? Do you know everything or do you don't know everything?
Yes, Mr. Bernardi, I believe so.
We'd come to work and there'd be a helicopter over our building, right? They'd be monitoring us, coming and going and everything. And, we'd stand there going like this at the helicopter.
Journalist Dave Lindorf was a target for the PDID.
The helicopter would follow me at night. One time they followed me all the way home. They were shining their light on me.
Dave and 143
That's
others
crazy.
sue Daryl Gates. Backed by the ACLU, things get hot.
Damn.
Gates strikes back, winning a totally separate case against the ACLU. Undercover cops can operate in schools as long as they're targeting drug dealers. The ACLU plans to appeal. All they have to do is prove one thing, that Gates will abuse that power. So the ACLU focuses their attention on the PDID case. The city attorney representing Gates opens an unlocked file cabinet. He runs to the press, calling PDID a clandestine band of zealots who abuse every single moral and ethical precept. The judge says they're going to order the police to release the files. But before they do, the news breaks. Gates has been funneling intelligence to Western goals. It's fully public.
Wow.
People are seeing this, they're hearing this. It
What
is
the
a
fuck?
huge deal. This is not good for Gates.
They weren't overly concerned until
This
the
nigga's-
ACLU
wow.
got in the PDID.
The ACLU starts closing in.
We started what's called the purge, destroying tens of thousands of documents. We had 2 commercial shredders. We burned 2 of them up. They knew they were going to lose this lawsuit.
Gates runs to the school board and pitches an idea. Drug education, taught by police, not for one class, but have them stay there.
When it came to spying, he had no rules.
School district is like,
That's some sick shit, bro. This nigga Daryl Gates was burnt. What the fuck? Dirty ass motherfucker. This D.A.R.E program some bullshit. I knew it was some bullshit. We knew it was bullshit back in the day, man. That nigga, he was power hungry, bruh. Fuck.
are nuts. A program cannot be developed overnight. Gates approaches smart researchers saying, use my cops for your program. They say, no.
They would send their files on leftist groups to Western goals, and then Western goals would make them accessible to the FBI.
Western Goals gets added as a defendant right as soon as they entered the Iran-Contra funding network by funding rebels in Nicaragua with the CIA. The founder of Western Goals gets on a plane to South Korea. Soviet fighters approach, shoot the plane down. He dies. The ACLU goes on the offense. The CIA notices that all of this is happening. LAPD, MH Chaos type activities, ACLU legal action. The CIA sends 2 agents to LA, and Gates sends 10 cops to 50 elementary schools. The official launch of D.A.R.E.
Wow. Wow. Damn. That's some deep shit, dog. That's some deep shit.
And that's when the city settled.
Damn.
Yo, Drew, I got that stuff I was telling you about.
No!
Old school shit.
Sometimes the best answer is the simplest way. You have the power. Just say no to drugs.
They ran a cold play on us as kids, man. Look at this shit. And now you got the backstory of what really was going on. And they was like, this how we gonna get in there. We gonna sit these spies up in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna use what they like, Power Rangers. Oh yeah, this is how we gonna cover it up. We're gonna make it seem like we're in here to help, but really we in here on some whole other operation. And they're not gonna notice a thing. They're gonna think it's good because it's police, and we're here teaching them about drugs. The study shows, hey man, if we go with this program, the kids are gonna want to do drugs more. Who gives a fuck? Let's proceed. That's some fucked up shit, dog. Like, that shit really enticed kids. It made them interested more in drugs. And they basically created crackheads and dope fiends in our communities with this dumbass programming.
Years passed by, D.A.R.E slowly grew, but there was one problem. Money. Police can't take money from any person who is engaged in business for gain. But if those same officers go out and start a private nonprofit, then now it's not the LAPD asking, it's a private charity. Then that private nonprofit can take the money and pass it off to the police department. Totally passes the sniff test. Like, it's totally above board. Super happy that things work this way. God. Today, this is actually totally normal. They're called police foundations. And if you've never heard of it, according to policefoundations.org, that's the point. These police foundations can't legally imply that any donor will be able to influence official actions or get anything in return, but there's low transparency. Critics call these dark money slush funds. The LAPD creates one called the CPAC, which turns into D.A.R.E California, and then, in turn, D.A.R.E America. They throw some fundraisers, inviting who critics would call dark money. They throw this fundraiser gala for D.A.R.E. The dinner chair of the gala, which, like, whatever, I don't fucking know what that means, is a luxury goods and jewelry mogul. And he lands a seat on D.A.R.E America's board of directors. A banker shows up, a developer shows up, they make the board too, an attorney attends, her son is suddenly on the board. The whole event, netting D.A.R.E more than $760,000, is paid for by a banker and Michael Milken, the man who would later get indicted for stock manipulation, insider trading, tax evasion, and become known as the junk bond king. Michael Milken, friend of D.A.R.E, I guess. That's crazy. How did that happen? How did they know each other?
Man. Some wild shit right here.
This is a duck. You can tell because it walks like one and it talks like one. In all my life, I've learned that if something says that it's one thing, but then it acts a different way, you should ask questions. A good one to start with is, how is it walking and how is it talking? D.A.R.E.'s first year was a trial run. Year 2, oops, cop shoots a revolver in a classroom. Year 3.
Oh my God. Damn it. Now that I'm looking back at it, I mean, again, we was kids, so was it working? We never even asked that shit. Hell, I don't even think we even cared. Was it working? They up here in this motherfucker, they pushing this agenda. But again, I'm telling you from a kid's mind, this because I was a kid at this time with D.A.R.E. All I cared about was that goddamn sticker and the goddamn t-shirt. I don't even remember the message besides just say no. I don't know what the fuck they was talking about. Like, that shit didn't stick with me for life. So they didn't do a good fucking job pushing their message.
Though, something different happens.
Oh, kids turning in their parents for drug use.
Even though D.A.R.E is still small, 6 kids.
Nah. Kids was turning their parents in? Oh, listen, that's a cold one, nigga. That's where the spy shit kick in at. We gonna put these niggas in because we gonna get these kids to be our little agents. We gonna get them to turn in their cousins who's a dope dealer, their dad who a dope dealer. If they got dope at home, if their mama's using dope, their dad using dope, Oh, nigga, they created little agents, little spies, bro. That's crazy.
Turn their parents in a 3-month period. From the early days,
Wow.
D.A.R.E. has to come up with this policy, telling their officers, you're not here to gather intelligence. You're here as a teacher. D.A.R.E.'s training documents are bathed in this language. Gain their trust. Gain their trust.
Wow.
And God forbid, if a child does confide in you, just like coincidentally, not because you gain their trust or anything, get another officer and let them take care of it. We can't have you losing the kid's trust, because I guess that's important for drug education.
Perhaps unintended consequences, perhaps intended.
Intended or unintended?
That is really crazy, bro. Turn these little kids into spies. You know, kids are so vulnerable, and they look at police like, you know how we look at police like, we know what it is when we see a police officer. Like, you know what I mean? You one of us, nigga. You bleed like we bleed, nigga, but you just got a badge. You know what I'm saying? We know that you niggas is janky too. Just because you got a badge don't mean you 100% right and you walking in the right path out here. Nah, you be janky. Y'all motherfuckers janky, yeah. But kids think the police are like perfect. Unless your parent, you as a parent are telling them like, fuck the police or something like that. They look at police like, you know, firemen and police, they look at them like heroes, nigga. So if a cop is in your school and telling you, hey man, just say no to drugs, and this is your hero you're looking at, or and if drugs are around you, come tell me. Tell somebody. Shit, they gonna go home, they gonna see a drug, they like, nigga, hey, guess what, Officer Wilson? My mama had an 8-ball of fucking coke on the table last night. God damn, they had the kids coming back snitching.
The new D.A.R.E. elementary curriculum challenges students by having them participate in active learning. The officer guides and directs students' progress and their understanding.
I'm going to ask for a student to help me by decorating the D.A.R.E. box, and that'll be a place for all of you to drop questions in. But also that might be a place where you may want to tell me something in confidentiality, and if you do, make sure that you make note of it in that box, please. Make note that that's in there, or that you don't want anyone to hear it, that you want it to be private. When I mention the term confidentiality, what that means is it's something between you and I. It's private.
If a literal confession box isn't damning, I don't know what is.
Would you say that it's in line with what you know about Daryl Gates to start a program that inspired kids to act as informants?
That is wild.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I have no doubt that it occurred to him that this is a possibility.
As D.A.R.E. grew, this became a huge problem. More and more kids started turning their parents in. Parents compared D.A.R.E. to the late Weimar Republic. If D.A.R.E. was good at one thing, it was not drug education. It was, as Wikipedia says, using children as informants.
Oh my fucking God, dog. That is really fucking crazy, y'all. Think about this shit, bruh. They came in, it's a wolf in sheep's clothing. They came in like they was on some positive, we're trying to clean up drugs and make kids just say no. Just say no to drugs is a slogan. Catering to the kids, just say no to drugs. But really, we're making you say who has the drugs. Who has the drugs? That wouldn't be a cool slogan though, right? Because that's not appealing to kids. Instead, we're going to say, just say no to drugs. But then when we talk to you, who has the drugs? And if you know, hey, fill it out on this little paper, drop it in this little snitch box right here, and we'll take care of it.
The idea that you're going to use kids to rat out on their parents, the bottom of the barrel. If they use that to lock the dad up, the kid's going to find out about it someday that it was because of what they did, and they're going to live with that guilt.
Wow, man. Wow. It was about surveillance, y'all.
A 3-year independent study into D.A.R.E. is commissioned by the Department of Justice, the same branch that funds D.A.R.E. Over the years, the DOJ approves of the independent agency's approach. Receiving feedback and notes, everything looks good. But when the study was ready and the findings were that D.A.R.E. didn't work, the Department of Justice refused to publish it. Totally confused, the researchers go to the American Journal of Public Health, one of the most respected academic journals in its field. This study received exceptionally good peer reviews, so the American Journal of Public Health goes to publish it. When the phone rings, it's D.A.R.E. They said that D.A.R.E. tried to intimidate them, to interfere and prevent the public from knowing that D.A.R.E. doesn't work. When a major television network was working on a story about D.A.R.E., the producer said they worked very hard to get our story suppressed. When a reporter questioned the effectiveness of the program in
Why are you covering it up? Why don't you want this to come out to the public? Why? You running a program in our kids' schools that isn't working, but you don't want the public to know that. That's some janky shit, bro.
USA Today, he received letters from classrooms all over the country, coordinated. They were all addressed. Dear D.A.R.E. Basher. D.A.R.E. didn't stumble into its failure. It protected it.
Wow.
But to D.A.R.E., it doesn't matter because the money starts flowing.
My fellow Americans, this war is not yet won.
Reagan accelerates the war on drugs.
And our nation is united against this scourge as never before.
The First Lady attends D.A.R.E. fundraisers.
This one, LA was ablaze too. They had the battle ram. Y'all remember the battle ram? Big ass truck that come through and tearing people's houses in half. They was doing all them illegal raids and planting drugs on people and all kind of shit. They was going crazy with this shit.
Disney's daughter gives an extraordinarily generous donation, landing a spot on the board of directors. The federal government says it'll pass a bill to fund anti-drug programs. Gates perks up and says, success is when D.A.R.E. is in every classroom across America. D.A.R.E. sends a lobbyist to D.C.
Wow.
That bill then gets amended, specifically putting money aside for programs that are taught by uniformed law enforcement officials. D.A.R.E. uses government money to create regional training centers and develops a decentralized business model. Board of directors, executives, employees, training centers, then the cops. But if they hire cops, they're no longer cops. So they help police departments set up private nonprofits themselves, dedicating much of the officers' training to teaching them how to raise money. They then coach those officers to expand their program and bring on more officers, creating a
running a pyramid.
Really unique triangle shape.
Why does it kind of sound like a multi-level marketing scheme?
At the time, Herbalife and MLM was the fastest growing company in America. Perhaps D.A.R.E. took some inspiration, but I don't know. It's not like Herbalife's founder and executive vice president was on the board of directors.
No fucking way. No fucking way. No fucking way. The Herbalife nigga was on D.A.R.E. Y'all remember Herbalife when it hit the ghetto? When everybody, nigga, one person to sell it and they get 5 more people to sell it. And everybody became like fucking crackheads about Herbalife. Like, take this, trust me. And that's all they want to talk about. They walking around with Herbalife shirts on. They selling you Herbalife products every day. They became like fucking zombies for Herbalife, bro. And that makes sense that they did this to the cops. Damn. That is wild. That nigga showed them how to do it.
They even donated $36,000 to D.A.R.E., specifically designated for rent. They start taking donations from corporations. A famous one is KFC. Right there. Look at that, the logo. It doesn't say D.A.R.E., D.A.R.E. America.
You know, if I were to have gone back to write this book again, you know, now, like trying to figure out, go into like corporate archives to find out, like, why are they all sponsoring D.A.R.E.?
Where would be a good place to find those that are potentially getting kickbacks? Officially, there's no kickbacks for these donors. There can't be. But in late 1989, Deputy Chief Glenn Levant, who helped run the D.A.R.E program at LAPD, ordered his elite detectives to spend 2 days scouting out a hotel outside of city limits. They were there to catch a thief, which is odd because they were outside of city limits.
Yeah.
They're outside of their jurisdiction. Right. Those cops should not have been there. It was revealed that the owner of the hotel was involved with the D.A.R.E program board, meaning the police were doing odd things that they usually would not be doing, things that benefited members of D.A.R.E's board.
Wow.
To the case that shocked the world, and now it has exploded into a city out of control.
A few years later, several police officers were caught on camera in a racially charged attack, beating a man named
Rodney King.
Terrible situation all night long.
And LA burned.
Fires, looting, gunshots, and now the National Guard may be ready to move in.
Gates was forced to resign. Levant shot up. His ambition kicked in. It was his time to be chief. But he didn't get the job. He left the force. The man who sent cops outside of city limits and reportedly ran the PDID's vastly more powerful sibling.
We were a mini CIA for the chief of police, and we worked some joint operations with the CIA.
Told y'all, it's a very dark story, man. The LAPD is the LA riots, 1992. Dark story. We gotta find a good reaction video if somebody got it.
Glenn Levant would leave the Los Angeles Police Department to take over D.A.R.E America.
Sheesh.
This is a timeline showing D.A.R.E's board of directors over time. With an alleged reputation of giving kickbacks to those that are affiliated with D.A.R.E's board, these are the people that Glenn Levant and D.A.R.E America reported to. You have billionaires and millionaires, high-powered lawyers, government officials or people with connections, high-powered police and their friends, media personalities, and some old friends. The football player that subdued RFK's killer, Bill Clinton's close confidant, a former congressman who was disgraced by financial crimes, who was assisted in those crimes by D.A.R.E's friend, the junk bond king, founders and CEOs of Hollywood's largest studios and developers, Michael Jackson, an infomercial king.
This is all about money, all about the money. Nothing, it ain't about the kids. It ain't about preventing kids from doing drugs, not one bit. They really sold us that shit, dog. Crazy, right?
Who will soon launder cocaine money. The lawyer who defended the city of LA in a lawsuit filed by the 15-year-old boy whose photos of RFK's assassination were stolen from him. But soon, trouble hits.
The largest criminal action against a Wall Street figure ever. Federal prosecutors indicted one of the richest and best-known Wall Street figures in America. His name was Michael Milken. Do you remember the movie Wall Street? Michael Douglas, the lead character in Wall Street, Greed is Good. That was based on Michael Milken.
Friend of D.A.R.E, Michael Milken, is indicted in a federal grand jury for financial crimes. Many of the board's most powerful members directly benefited from his financing. Like this guy, billionaire Ron Burkle, connected to Harvey Weinstein, business partners with Sean Diddy Combs, close friends and donor to Bill Clinton, and his name appears on a list, officially made by a man who never had any clients. According to the data available to us, Ron Burkle is the longest-running director on the board at D.A.R.E. The junk bond king is sentenced to 10 years in prison. He only served 22 months, and then the junk bond king was released. But he had to do a lot of community service, which he went to D.A.R.E. for. You can see him here talking to board member Michael Jackson at a gala. And as D.A.R.E. starts to fail, the board will also fall apart.
I got a wild theory about Michael Jackson. He was the token black artist to these white people right here. They ran a play on us with Michael Jackson too, but that might have to be a Pun Solved Mysteries. That might have to be a Pun Solved Mysteries. We can unpack Michael Jackson. Y'all not ready for that one.
Michael Jackson goes to criminal trial. Michael Ovitz gets fired from his executive role at Disney. D.A.R.E has a tense meeting with Congress and subsequently loses access to federal funding. Herbalife's founder suddenly dies. Close friends Michael Ovitz and Ron Burkle have a falling out, and several members on the board have either hired or are somehow connected to a private investigator named Anthony Pellicano. They call him the Sin Eater. The convicted felon was hired by the Clintons to discredit Monica Lewinsky and Jennifer Flowers. He was hired by Michael Jackson to investigate the children accusing him. Hired by Ovitz to spy on Burkle. He was a mob.
See, y'all not ready for the Michael Jackson one. Y'all not ready for the Michael Jackson Unsolved Mysteries. Bruh.
Mob man who somehow got access to LAPD police files to aid in his crimes. Anyways, those are the guys that out of the goodness of their hearts want to help your kids.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
So what was D.A.R.E really all about? We can't say for sure, but we can hold it up to the Dunn test. Beginning in the 1990s, the United Kingdom taught the D.A.R.E curricula, but over time, they modified the curricula and strayed from only using police officers. They still used cops. They just also used professionals and educators. But D.A.R.E sent them a cease and desist, demanding that they stop using the D.A.R.E trademark. Coincidentally, after D.A.R.E UK made this change, early studies found an overall positive change in results. So while the official story is that Daryl Gates created D.A.R.E because he wasn't happy with the results of the undercover drug bust in schools, I believe that the Detroit News said it best. In 1983, then Los Angeles Police Chief Daryl Gates wanted to get police officers into schools. What resulted was a strange brew of politics, police, and education researchers, and explains D.A.R.E's long history of clashing with nearly everyone who tried to evaluate it. So if you were to ask me, D.A.R.E walks like an MLM and talks like a hustle. After years of attacking anyone that criticized their program, D.A.R.E finally admitted it here on their website. Scientists have repeatedly shown that the program did not work.
Damn. That is crazy, y'all. This is why I wanted to watch this, because I'm like, oh, I knew it was going to do. This is crazy. Power and greed, man. That's what it all comes down to. Power and greed every time. Every fucking time. And they use us, the people, especially the inner city. They come in and profit off our backs, man. Every fucking time. Hey, they don't give a fuck. What Michael Jackson say? All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Michael Jackson was trying to tell you, but he was a puppet. But we'll say that for another night.
Seemingly in hopes to regain access to federal funding, D.A.R.E has released a new program. Then this one works.
Today, Attorney General Jeff Sessions attended a gathering of D.A.R.E.
Over the past 3 years, D.A.R.E has had record-breaking expansion, training thousands of new cops. D.A.R.E is back.
The first D.A.R.E graduation.
I definitely seen it recently.
So much interest in D.A.R.E returning.
I saw it recently.
The D.A.R.E program, and schools are on board.
And it does actually seem like D.A.R.E's new program
Nah,
is promising.
fuck that.
But the irony of it all is that D.A.R.E's new program was evaluated by a man named William B. Hansen, a scientific prevention strategist, who back in the day worked with the Los Angeles Unified School District to develop a program called Project Smart.
We own you, D.A.R.E. All right, man. That was amazing. That was a good one. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. That was a good one. That was a great reaction right there, man. I enjoyed watching that one right there. That was some groundbreaking shit. It was breaking shit down I didn't know. I did not know how dark the D.A.R.E program was. Oh, man. We all learned something new tonight, man. I mean, I don't think many of you knew this shit. I know even in the comment section, some of y'all gonna say, yeah, I already knew this. Unless you watched this already or watched shit about. I mean, you know, some of y'all probably did. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about it, man. The D.A.R.E program is definitely back. I realized that last Thanksgiving. I went to go buy a honey glazed turkey Scrumdiddlyumptious. I went to buy a honey glazed turkey, and outside they had a table set up with the D.A.R.E program. And I asked him, I said, damn, where has D.A.R.E been? And then he started talking, and I couldn't focus because I started smelling that honey baked glazed ham, that turkey. And I had to get up in there, so I didn't get to finish and get the story. So I'm glad I watched this tonight, man. You know what I'm saying? So let me know what y'all think in the comments section. I'm going to give y'all 2 seconds to smash the like. And as always, get ready for the next reaction.